Hey, topic analyze math and history, and we're gonna review the 5-number summary in statistics. So, we have been taking a look at the minimum, the first quarter, the median, the third quarter, and the maximum. And what we're gonna do is make a list of numbers in the boxes that explain to us what the 5-number summary is. So, since it's almost the end of the robotics year or the robotics season, and they use math and numbers, the data we have here is the game, Vex Robotics game, Tipping Point. And here's the driver control skills challenge with 1695E, 1695D, 1695C, 1695B, 1695F, 1695A, 8059A, and 4478D. And here are the scores they got for skills challenge for driver control. Hey, the timer. 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh yeah, and they're all active. Many teams like to get the majority of points by pushing mobile goals into home zones. So let's start making a 5-number summary. Then we're gonna see what the outliners are. So what we gotta do with these numbers is put them from least to greatest by numeral value.
Meanwhile, 6 hours later that same evening.
Okay, so we did put the numbers from least to greatest. So the smallest number is 60, and it goes all the way up to 386 points. So what we already know there is we know that 60 is the smallest number of them all, and 386 is the largest number. We can say that the minimum is the smallest number, or we write 60. The maximum is going to be the largest number, and that is 386 points, which is the current world record for Vex Robotics Tipping Point. So, we already have 2 of the 5 boxes filled out. Now we gotta find out the last 3. But wait, what is the first quarter, what's the third quarter, and what is the median? So we're gonna look at the median next, because that will help us find the quarters. The median in statistics is the middle number that shows up in a process of numbers in a line. So you would want to try and find the middle number. An easy way to do that is by going from here, tap that number, tap that. This, that. Uh-oh, we have 101 and 160. We want to find the median, which is 1 number, but we have 2 numbers. What do? What we're gonna do is we're gonna add the 2 together. Then when we do that, we divide by 2 to get the middle number between the 2 numbers. So 101 plus 160 is 261. When we divide that by 2, we're gonna get an answer of 130.5. And that's the middle number. So that means our median or our middle number is 130.5. Now we get to find the quarters, or the first quarter and the third quarter. So, if we already have our median in between right here, 130.5, Then what we're going to do is find the median of the first half of the entire process and the second half of the entire process. So let's do the first. We count 101 and 60. So, we have 80 and 100. Just like finding the median for this one, we want one number. So this plus that is 180. Divide that by 2, we get 90 points. 90 is going to be our first quarter, or the 25th percentile. Because the minimum is 0, this is 25%, this is 50%, this is 75%, and this is 100% of the entire data. So let's find the third quarter. We have 160 and 386. So, we have 240 and 356. When we add the two, we get 596. When we divide that by 2, we get an answer of 298. And that is our 75th percentile. So, 298 is more than 130.5. So it's above 50% of the entire data. So here is our 5-number summary. This is what we do when we try and find a 5-number summary. The min, first quarter, median, third quarter, and the maximum. But wait, we're still missing something. Are there any outliers or outliers? Because when you play tipping point, it's not usually normal to get 60 points for driver control. Or, astonishingly, the world record for tipping point is 386. That is way off the charts. So we're gonna prove if any of those numbers are outliers. The first step to finding an outlier is writing and understanding what IQR is. And that's called the interquartile range. Quartile represents the 2 quarters that we mentioned earlier. Range represents the distance numeral between the two. Like, we have the third quarter, so Q3, subtract that by Q1, the values. So 298 minus that by 90. When we do that, we're going to get an answer of 208. That's the interquartile range, numeral distance between the two. Now, we get to learn something that has a higher limit to an outlier and a lower limit to an outlier. The higher on a chart or a number line is going to be to the far right. The lower is going to be on the left side, which is called the far left.
This is great. Just the 3 of us. You, me, and this brick wall you built between us.
Yeah.
And these are called fences. There are 2 different formulas of finding the higher fence and the lower fence. And if any of those numbers or pieces of data surpasses the answers we get for both of them, or at least one of them, then we can definitely say that they're outliers, numbers that are off the charts. When we try and find the high fence, what we're going to do is we're going to use a formula of the third quartile, add that by 1.5 multiplied by the interquartile range. That is for the high fence. The lower fence is a little bit different. With the low fence, you gotta focus on the first quartile. Subtract that by 1.5, multiply that by the IQR. Now, let's insert some of the data we have here, insert them into 2 of the formulas. So, what are the outliers? Let's try the high fence first. So we know that the IQR was 208. So we have 1.5 multiplied by 208, and that will bring us 312. Then we have to add that by the third quartile. So when we add that by 298, we're going to get an answer of 610 points. But that is way more than the maximum or the highest record someone scored a tipping point, which is 8059A. That's in Singapore, in Asia. For the lower one, we have the IQR as 208 multiplied by 1.5. We're going to get an answer of 312 again, but instead of adding, we subtract because it's the lower fence. So we have 90 minus that by 312. We're supposed to get an answer of negative 222. So negative 222 is the lower fence, and 610 is the upper fence, which means no number is over or under the limits, which means every team's score is within the range of the two numbers. And that is how you find the 5-number summary and proving what is an outlier or outlier. So when you want to find an outlier is, find the fences for the high and the low ones. And if any numbers are above the high one or below the low one, that means it's an outlier. It is way off the charts. I hope this video has helped you. Thank you for watching Outliers Math Industry. Like and subscribe.